Hi there! By now everyone knows that this channel is about tea, but what exactly does that mean? So a lot of people, especially here in the United States, don't know, but tea is an actual species of plant called Camellia Sinensis. I'll put a picture of it here. It's my favorite botanical print. I actually have a tattoo of that on my leg that I got last year. I'll link my blog post about that in the description below. And so Camellia Sinensis is an evergreen shrub. It's somewhat debated where it exactly originated, but most people think it's kind of around Yunnan in China, India, Burma, like that kind of area. And so anything that's not made from the Camellia Sinensis plant, like rooibos, chamomile, or mint, are technically not tea, even though we might drink them in the same way that we do as tea. So there are basically two main kind of subcategories for Camellia Sinensis. So there's Camellia Sinensis, which is generally like the smaller leaf version, that usually is what would be grown in China, Japan, most places around the world for the most part. But then there's also Camellia Sinensis assamica, which is a larger leafed variety, and that variety prefers a warmer climate, so generally that is grown in Assam in India, as well as in Yunnan province in China. And so within each of those, there are lots of different cultivated varieties of the tea plant, where people have kind of purposely bred them for particular flavors or for certain traits like drought hardiness or pest resistance. And usually that's done by kind of cloning the tea plant. So rather than growing it from seeds, they will use, cut off small branches of the tea plant and use those to propagate new tea plants. So that way they're genetically identical to the parent plant. There's much more variation when you're growing from seed, so it's harder to retain certain characteristics that you're looking for in your tea. And one of the fascinating things about Camellia Sinensis is that it is one of the few plant varieties in the world that naturally contain caffeine. Really the only other ones you'll see are kind of the holly plant varieties, so that'll be like your yerba mate, Wayusa, and yaupon. So those are not technically tea because they're not from the Camellia Sinensis plant, but they do naturally contain caffeine on their own. So I think the most important thing for anyone to know about tea is that all tea actually does come from that same plant. So Camellia Sinensis leaves can be used to make white tea, green tea, oolong, black tea, pour. And so the way that the leaves are processed is really what determines what kind of tea it becomes. So white tea, generally the leaves are kind of just dried, so there's not really very much processing there at all. Green tea, there's some sort of heat that's applied to the leaves, whether that's pan roasting or steaming. That's what's going to help the leaves keep their nice green color. And then oolong tea, the leaves are rolled. The juices coat the outside of the leaves, and that's kind of what helps the process of oxidation. So within oolong, you can have an oolong that's like really green and floral, to where you would almost think it's a green tea, all the way to something that's really dark. A lot of times that has to do with roasting, but you can also have an oolong that's pretty highly oxidized. So black tea generally then is pretty much about 100% oxidized. It's really not possible to get it exactly to 100%. For example, First Flush Darjeeling is a black tea, but the leaves will actually look really green, especially once you infuse them. And so for pour, then the leaves kind of undergo a lot of the same process that a green tea does, but the leaves are fermented. So that's like a post-processing step that really changes the character of the tea and makes it into a different category. And so I'm hoping to have a lot more kind of tea educational content on this channel, in addition to husband tea torture every other week. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you would like to know more about. I will definitely try my best to answer all of your questions. Make sure that you subscribe so that you see all of the videos that I upload, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.